Day and Night. Each morning, Ra stepped onto his boat and set sail over Nut. Climbing high into the sky and down again, he brought with him the sun to light up the ground below. During the day, Ra's journey was peaceful. He glided above the land, watching the shadows cast by his light become longer and shorter. It was in the evening, when it was time for the sun to set, that things grew more perilous, though. Every night Ra knew he would have to travel through the underworld, Duat, where humans were sent after they passed away. However, it was not only the souls of the dead that resided there. Duat was home to a great number of strange and terrifying creatures. As sunset approached, Ra steered his boat below the horizon at its most westerly point, taking the sun with him so that the world above was plunged into darkness. Then he disembarked by the entrance to Duat and prepared himself for the challenges ahead. Upon his arrival, Ra was greeted by a troop of baboons who sang and danced with excitement at his return. In Duat, Ra boarded a second boat and was set off into the calm waters of the river Wernez, where the other gods and goddesses joined him in the small vessels of their own. Ra still carried the disk of the sun, and as its golden rays fell on the ground, lush fields sprang up along the previously bare river banks. However, as they traveled, the river became narrower, and Ra knew they were approaching the land of the Rosatau. Eventually, the Wherns dried up completely, and Ra could no longer sail his boat. As they entered Rosatau, Ra had to enlist the help of several men and women to carry his boat along the narrow path guarded by winged snakes. At the head of their procession, an enormous beetle joined them to guide Ra over the sandy land. Eventually, Ra reached the deepest point of the Duat, where water covered the ground once again, and he was greeted by Nun in the form of a crocodile. It was the power of Nun that renewed Ra each night, giving him the energy to carry on his journey and make the sun rise again the next day. And how he needed it! Ra and his companions were about to meet their greatest obstacle. As they sailed on, a great hissing sound surrounded them. Suddenly, Ra found his path blocked by the evil serpent Apophis. When Ra drew near, Apophis slithered toward him and opened his enormous jaw, so wide that the water Ra was sailing on flowed straight into its belly. Ra had to use all his might to paddle against the current pulling him into the snake's mouth. Thankfully, Ra was filled with the power of Nun. He used his divine strength to push back the monstrous beast and escape its snapping jaws. With Apophis defeated, Ra was safe. After 12 long hours, he had reached the other side of Duat and the land of the living. There he boarded this daytime boat once more, and a new day began.